Two gamers, same budget, same exact price tag on the box. One buys the chip that wins every gaming benchmark on Earth. The other buys a chip with double the cores. They both run their own test, and they both win. Wait, how do they both win? Because they are not fighting the same battle. One CPU was built to play. The other was built to work. And deep inside that silicon, those two goals are at war. This is gaming versus multitasking, the CPU battle nobody explains properly. Let's crack the chip open. Forget gigahertz for 1 second. Forget the benchmarks. A CPU is really just a room full of workers. Each worker is called a core. A core does one job. Grab an instruction, solve it, grab the next. Billions of times every second. How fast that worker moves is your clock speed, measured in gigahertz. 5 gigahertz means 5 billion ticks a second. So more gigahertz means a faster worker. Simple. Except, speed alone has been lying to you for years. Because a faster worker isn't always a smarter one. Now, one worker is fine. But what if you hire 16? That's core count. More cores, more workers, more jobs at once. And here's a trick. Each core can juggle 2 task lists at the same time. That's a thread, or SMT, simultaneous multi-threading. 8 cores, 16 threads, 16 jobs in flight. A Ryzen 99950X runs 16 cores and 32 threads. 32 jobs at once. Sounds unbeatable, right? More workers must mean more power. Yeah, go tell that to your favorite game. Because most games don't want an army. They want a sprinter. Here's the secret the spec sheet hides. 2 CPUs can both run at 5 gigahertz, and one is still 30% faster. How? A thing called IPC, instructions per clock. It's how much real work a core finishes on every single tick. Higher IPC means more done per beat. Same speed, more muscle. This is single-thread performance, one worker going all out. And single-thread is the throne that games fight for. Remember that word, single-thread. Because right here is where the battle finally splits in two. A game has a brutal, invisible deadline. At 60 frames per second, your CPU has 16.6 milliseconds to build one frame. Miss it, you stutter, you drop, you die. And most games lean hard on just 1 or 2 heavy threads to hit that deadline. Physics, AI, draw calls, all piled onto a couple of cores. So a game doesn't care that you own 32 threads. It cares how fast your fastest cores are. Few cores, high clocks, brutal single thread. That's the gaming recipe. But there's one more ingredient, and it's the real weapon. A core is lightning fast. System memory is not. Every time a core asks RAM for data, it waits. And waiting kills frames. So engineers glue ultra-fast memory right onto the chip. That's cache. AMD took it further. They stacked a giant slab of extra cache on top. They call it 3D V-Cache, the X3D chips. The Ryzen 7 9800 X3D, 96 megabytes of it. Game data now sits right beside the cores, almost zero waiting. The payoff? Higher frames, smoother lows, way less stutter. It's how a humble 8-core X3D beats chips with double the cores in games. In gaming, cache beats clocks. Cache beats cores. The 9800 X3D is the gaming king of 2026. The 9850 X3D just barely edges it. 8 cores. That's genuinely all gaming needs. Now flip the battlefield completely. You're not gaming, you're rendering 4K video, compiling code, streaming live. These jobs aren't one heavy thread, they're 1,000 tiny ones. and 1,000 tiny jobs love 1,000 tiny workers. This is where core count finally goes to war. 16 cores, 32 threads, all burning at once. A Ryzen 99950X chews through an export while you barely blink. Twice the cores can mean nearly twice the throughput here. The chip that lost the game obliterates the workload. Same silicon idea, opposite winner. So why not just build one chip with everything? Max cores, max cache, max clocks? Because physics always sends the bill. Here's the cruel part. You cannot max everything at once. 16 cores all boosting hard? That's a furnace of heat and watts. A 65-watt chip sips power. A 170-watt monster demands liquid cooling. And that cache trick? It used to backfire. First-gen X3D stacked the cache on top of the cores, like a thermal blanket. The heat couldn't escape, so AMD had to slow the clock speed down. More cache, but slower cores. A trade. In 2026, they flipped it. Cache underneath, cores on top, finally free to clock high. But the law never bends. More cores fight clock speed. Cache fights heat. Every single gain costs you somewhere else. So the engineers made a choice. Pick a side. Unless you try to win both wars at once. Enter the chips that flat out refuse to choose. Intel's answer: 2 different kinds of cores on one chip. Big P cores, the sprinters, built for raw speed. Small E cores, the swarm, built for background grunt work. The Core Ultra 9285K splits the job. Speed where you need it, efficiency where you don't. AMD's answer is sneakier. On the 9950X3D, one half of the chip gets the gaming cache, and the other half gets the high clock cores for heavy lifting. Then, a smart scheduler parks your game on the cache side, automatically. One chip, 2 personalities, gamer and workstation in the same socket. It is the closest thing yet to winning both battles. But you pay for it, in price, in power, and in complexity. So back to our 2 gamers. Who was right? Both of them, completely. The X3D player wanted frames. He bought speed and cache. The many-core player wanted to game and create. He bought an army. Neither chip is better. They were just built for different wars. Pure gaming, few fast cores and fat cache win every single time. Editing, streaming, rendering, more cores, more threads. No contest. The best CPU doesn't exist. The best CPU for your battle does. So before you ever buy, ask yourself one question. Are you here to play or here to work? Answer that, and the right chip basically picks itself. And now you know more about CPUs than the guy at the store. If this rewired your brain a little, hit subscribe. More tech decoded. I'm Snowbite. Stay cool.